Don't say it. Don't you say it.
Left.
Come on!
From the first Iron Man movie to Endgame, MCU has brought us dozens of classic moments. Some of the most memorable has come from the First Avenger himself, Steve Rogers, also known as Captain America. Today in this top 10, we'll be looking at some of the Cap's more defining moments from the MCU. While some of these are subjective and not in any particular order, no one's perfect, let me know if I missed your favorite moment and drop it in the comments below. With that out of the way, let's dive in.
You just don't know when to give up, do you?
I can do this all day.
One of the most iconic lines from Steve Rogers is, "I can do this all day." You hear it in the First Avenger when he's getting a beat down in an alley, showing his determination even when everything seems to be against him. This line pops up again and again throughout the MCU, each time with a different tone and context. Leading up to the battle with Red Skull and Captain America the First Avenger, Steve learns about Hydra's plan to use super weapons powered by the Tesseract, and sets out on a mission with the Howling Commandos to destroy Hydra operations. He gets captured by Red Skull, who pulls that classic supervillain monologue, leading to Skull hitting him a couple times, with the Cap responding with his classic line. Then, in Civil War, it's a desperate note during his fight with Tony Stark. Stark was looking for closure, or vengeance, however you want to look at it, over Bucky killing his parents, and Steve hiding it from him. This leads to the end fight where Tony gets the upper hand, and Steve desperately telling him that he can do this all day. And who can forget that moment in Endgame, when older Steve is fighting his younger self, who after the first takedown tells his older self that he can do this all day. Older Steve, being on the other end for the first time, replies sarcastically,
Can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
Each time Steve says, "I can do this all day," it reinforces his real strength. That isn't just about the fact that he has super soldier serum in his system, which to be fair, it doesn't hurt, but that it comes from not giving up no matter what's in front of him. Which one of these lines is your favorite? This one had people screaming in theaters, and it's a testament to years of storytelling that had the biggest payoff. This moment calls back to Age of Ultron, where he almost lifts the hammer, teasing his worthiness. In the comics, Captain America has wielded Mjolnir before, but seeing it on the big screen, with Steve using it alongside his shield, was nothing short of legendary. Bro wielded it like a natural, probably from seeing Thor use it, taking it to Thanos, helping to even the odds. This sequence is one of the most memorable in the MCU, but I'd argue in all of cinema as well. And add Thor saying, "I knew it," was the only reminder needed to know of the scene in Age of Ultron, and in doing so, Marvel managed to pull together years of storytelling and characterization. There's more to this scene though, which led to one of the most iconic moments for Steve, but we'll tackle that later in this list. This is where we see Steve Rogers first fully step into the heroic side in his role as Captain America. Disobeying orders, Steve infiltrates a Hydra base to save his fellow soldiers, including Bucky Barnes, who were captured by Hydra. His bravery and leadership shine through, marking him as more than just a military propaganda machine and becoming something more. Here we see the makings of greatness, the pursuit of the right thing in the face of danger, and consequences for disobeying orders. Even on his return to camp, he offers himself up for disciplinary action, knowing that he disobeyed orders. We see the strengthening of the relationship with him and Bucky, which provides us context for Captain America's Civil War, where he vehemently defends him against the actions of Tony Stark. This ends in a feel-good moment with Bucky telling his company, "Let's hear it for Captain America." It's not just the big fights where we see Steve shine, he's also taking on systematic corruption. In Winter Soldier, he discovers that Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., and his response is to expose the truth. No matter the cost, throughout the course of the movie, he investigates the corrupt Hydra and finding those from S.H.I.E.L.D. who betrayed him. This determination to uncover and reveal the hidden agenda of Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D. showcases Steve's commitment to justice and integrity. During this powerful speech of S.H.I.E.L.D., Steve digs in at Hydra, exposing his treacherous presence and influence. At the same time, he inspires those in S.H.I.E.L.D. who aren't a part of Hydra to rally around him and his allies. In the comic, Captain America has often clashed with corrupt institutions, making this moment a faithful adaptation of his principles. Steve's fight against Hydra within S.H.I.E.L.D. mirrors his battle against similar threats in the comics. His ability to inspire and lead others in the face of adversity is a testament to his character's enduring appeal and relevance. This adaptation not only stays true to the source material, but also brings Captain America's timeless values to life in a modern context.
Understood?
You know, I still don't know how to dance.
I'll show you how. Just be there.
We'll have the band play something slow.
Steve's decision to crash a Hydra plane into the Arctic is the ultimate act of selflessness. His final conversation with Peggy Carter is heartbreaking, setting up one of the most MCU's tragic love stories. The moment was always going to be on the list, considering this is the origin story and introduction to the modern MCU. Captain America works because of this. It's a combination of old school values with a modern clarity that is completely unique to him in comparison to his peers. Created by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, Captain America was the go-to anti-Nazi fighting spirit of America, but after World War II, comics fell off for a bit due to a number of social and political ideologies running wild during this time. In the early 1960s, with the resurgence of comics, Captain America was retconned into having fallen into the Atlantic Ocean, frozen for years before being recovered and becoming an Avenger. It was essential that the MCU pulled this scene off, as it is a core part to the story of every other Marvel hero. In Endgame, Steve Rogers pulls off one of the cleverest fake-outs in MCU history. Faced with a room full of Hydra agents, Steve leans in and whispers,
Hail Hydra.
diffusing the situation without a fight. The scene is a nod to the controversial Secret Empire arc, where Captain America was revealed to be part of Hydra. Captain Hydra was a double, created by the fragment of the Cosmic Cube, whose timeline was altered, where in his past, he was made to be a sleeper agent for Hydra. The real Steve was eventually found, and he fought his double, winning, but unfortunately the damage was done, as his public image was destroyed. While fans were divided on that storyline, this moment was humorous, but also was quick thinking on Steve's part to prevent further escalation and keep the timeline intact. What did you think when Steve dropped those words? The Wakanda fight was designed in part to show how powerful Thanos was, in an effort to give Wanda time to pull and destroy the Mind Stone to prevent Thanos from completing the gauntlet. Everyone from Bucky, War Machine, Okoye, and the Dora Milaje were all fighting to stop Thanos. One by one they're taken down, and the last one to stand against Thanos was Captain America, who's eventually overpowered, and with one punch, he's knocked out. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it speaks volumes about Steve Rogers. Facing the Mad Titan himself, Steve digs deep and resists the full might of the Infinity Gauntlet, despite knowing that it was futile. This scene mirrors Steve's countless battles against overwhelming odds in the comics. It's not about whether he can win, it's about showing up, standing tall, and never giving up. Winter Soldier to this day is one of my favorite MCU movies. The action, storytelling, and furthering of the interconnected storylines of the MCU was on point. While many readers know who the Winter Soldier was before the movie came out, that didn't make this moment hit any less. After a brutal fight with the Winter Soldier, Steve ends up knocking off the face mask and learning that Bucky was not only alive, but a mercenary assassin. It definitely drives his motivation for the remainder of the film and is a constant thread throughout future films, especially in Civil War, where Steve's relationship with Stark is tested after Tony learns that Bucky, as Winter Soldier, killed his parents. This moment, in the context of Steve's MCU history, now can be seen as one of the more pivotal scenes for him, in that it put the character in a crossroads, picking those who were loyal to him from his old life and perhaps the only remainder of his life years ago, or picking up the new family formed around his recent battles. This was a big storyline when it was first released, as Bucky had been gone for comics for years, aside from flashbacks, one of the few semi-permanent deaths in comic books altogether. So in 2005, when Ed Brubaker decided to bring him back, it was a very big deal. I'm not sure what else to really say here, because it speaks for itself. Probably one of the most iconic scenes across all cinema, top scene for a comic book movie to say the least. Steve here was standing alone, standing up in the face of the giant army with Thanos at his head. Suddenly, the portals open, with the armies of Wakanda, heroes that disappeared from the snap, all come to join Captain America in his fight. After over a decade of build-up, we finally hear Steve say the iconic words,
Avengers!
Assemble.
This line, delivered with quiet power, is a culmination of years of storytelling, bringing together every hero for one final fight. For longtime Marvel fans, Avengers Assemble is a classic rallying cry, most of the time said by Captain America, but was actually said by Thor first in Avengers number 10 in 1964, but later was first officially said by Steve himself in issue 16 of the series. When the first movie released, fans were wondering when he was going to finally say it. It was teased in earlier films, so when we hear it in Endgame, it was another one of those long payoffs from all the years of interconnected storytelling. I wonder this myself at times. When looking at heroes like Captain America, or Superman, they've been around for so long that their existence transcends normal fiction. They individually have become symbols of heroism for comic readers, and in their respective universes, they are inspirations to the heroes around them. While Superman is defined by ideals like hope and the betterment of the world around him, Captain America is different, at least in my opinion. Years ago, radio broadcasts during World War II defined Superman by his signature motto that would stick around for years with the words, "Truth, Justice, and the American Way." While DC later changed it to "Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow," the American Way stuck around for years, but it stigmatized Superman in a way where he was only fighting for the interest of America, which I don't see myself resonating with. Not because of any sinister or political reasons, it's just that over time, Superman has become a symbol of hope and justice for everyone, America included. Captain America, on the other hand, is our hero. Aside from the obvious with his name, he symbolizes what America can be and the values that we hold on to in the good and the bad. His constant fight to help others is deeply rooted in the American ideals and values, and that's not a bad thing. When Chris Evans first portrayed Steve Rogers in the First Avengers, he played the role of a man looking to help his country in any possible way. His determination and grit, even without the serum, defined who he was, and when he became Captain America, he proved that he would do whatever was necessary to help those around him. The story of Steve Rogers comes full circle when he chooses to return to the past and live a life with Peggy Carter. When we see an older Steve sitting by the lake, it's a bittersweet farewell to the story. His decision to pass the shield to Sam Wilson signifies not just an ending, but a new beginning. In the comics, Steve has stepped aside multiple times, but this moment in the MCU felt deeply personal, and thanks to this moment, we're finally getting to see the Falcon take his turn as Captain America, continuing the legacy built by Steve Rogers in the MCU. Which one of these were your favorite moments? And tell me which ones I missed in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Want to take a look at this video here. But for now, and until next time, take care and have an awesome day.